Harrow's analysis fixates on the prayer. They miss the contract. Stone breathes cold against his ribs. Rell's sanctum reeks of incense and blood. The prayer hums a chord that cracks the air. Rell's mission was never containment, it was leverage. And Harrow's Harrow, whisper not from the void pool but within it like oil beneath his feet. And Harrow's Harrow gauntlet trembles. What does the void demand for its borrowed silence? You are not alone, his own voice twisted, the temperature plummets. Rell's mission was never containment, it was leverage. And Harrow, a debtor's mark, what does the void demand for its borrowed silence? Harrow's vigil is not a shield, it is a seal. Rell, that fractured Zariman orphan, did not bind the man in the wall, rented its silence. A child warlord trading his sanity for a lease on reality. The void does not give, it borrows. And now Harrow, priest of the pact, enforces the terms. His prayers are not devotion, they are rent. Every incantation chains the indifference to Rell's fragile mind, a tenant clinging to a landlord's mercy, but voids expand. What if the man in the wall is not Rell's prisoner but his collateral? The Tenno's child anchors a debt he cannot repay, and Harrow. He is the collector. The question is not what the void demands. It is how much of Rell it will take before the silence breaks. Harrow's blade carves hymns into the dark. It is both priest and prisoner. The contract was written in Rell's blood. A child's decision, bind the worst thing or let it devour the stars. Autistic focus became a shield. He anchors the wall by letting the void anchor itself to him. The Zariman ruins hold no tomb. Rell's vigil is a wound that does not heal. Harrow's devotion is the void's mimicry. It wears a holy face to eat slower. Every incantation the Warframe utters is a debt payment. The price, Rell's memories, his identity, his right to grieve. The man in the wall waits. Harrow waits, and the void, patient as a parent, collects. What remains when the last prayer is spent? A child in a corpse's skin. A Warframe with no name, and the entity, finally full, finally free. The technocyte seeped into Harrow's bones, a binding not of flesh but of memory. The void did not grant power, it traded it. Rell's vigil was no sanctuary, it was a scar, a wound kept raw by a voice that never stops pleading. The Zariman consequence, a debt paid in syllables. Each prayer Harrow breathes traps the man in the wall deeper. But what does the void keep in exchange? It keeps him, the Warframe with no name. A vessel of living code, forced to repeat the heresy of hope. The entity behind the wall was not defeated. It was folded. Rell's own sin buried beneath layers of a psionic tomb. And Harrow, he is the lock, the key, the rust that eats the mechanism from within. The void remembers. It remembers every face Harrow has worn, every Warframe sundered, every Tenno's blood spilled on the origin system's edge. The void does not see it. Reconstructs a mirror of your regrets polished into a cage. Harrow's voice cracks. His supplications are not devotion. They are a firewall, a looped command to keep the wall intact, but firewalls decay, and loops always find a glitch. What if Rell's mission was never to protect the origin? What if it was to pacify a monster he could not kill, the void's price? A soul with too many memories to escape its pull. Harrow's eyes glow not with faith, but with the void's hunger. His technocyte body is a palimpsest, every scar a glyph, every heartbeat a counter. The entity behind the wall waits for silence. For a single unspoken moment, and Harrow speaks, again and again, until his throat is dust. Until his code is a prayer mat, worn flat by the weight of what he cannot unsee. The void does not forgive, it archives. And Harrow is the archive, the witness, the endless screaming footnote to a crime too vast for names. What flickers in his gaze when the cycle resets? Not loyalty, not even despair, a question. How long before the wall forgets which side him on? Rell's hand closes around Harrow's frame. The void does not see him but it remembers. A pact carved in silence. The Warframe's prayers do not ascend. They sink anchors in the dark, binding the man in the wall to this cycle. Rell's throat tightens. His voice is not lost. It is given. A key turned in the void's lock. Harrow moves with purpose. Not for Rell, not for the Tenno whose oaths are their own. He is the wall, the wound, the cage. Every incantation a thread in the net that holds the thing Rell unleashed. The thing that wants to be forgotten, Rell's mind fractures. The cost of the ritual is not blood, it is the self. Piece by piece the void unspools him. The Tenno fight for their names. Harrow forgets his own. His armor glows not with holiness but with the pressure of what it blocks. The man in the wall does not speak. It listens. To the cracks in Rell's voice, to the spaces between Harrow's prayers. Every reset is a test, every battle a seal. The void does not attack. It waits for the moment the price is unpaid. Rell knows what he has done. He chose this. To become the offering, the intermediary, the broken thing that keeps the worst thing buried. The Tenno will call Harrow loyal. They will mistake devotion for virtue. They will not hear the truth in his silence. They will not see the thing he holds back. The void remembers, it always does. And when Rell's final word fades, when Harrow's light dims to a whisper, the wall will not forget. It never forgets the price was paid. The cycle turns, the cage holds for now. The cold seeps from Harrow's armor iron-tainted air, the weight of 1,000 silent screams. The void remembers every fracture in his soul, but does not see him. His silence is not devotion. It is a ledger of debts paid in time, what was unmade to keep the worst thing buried. The answer hums in the space between heartbeats. Harrow's prayers do not mend flesh, they split the void like a cracked mirror. Each hymn carves a rift-thin, bleeding edges of what was stolen. His armor is a prison. The man in the wall writes through Rell now, not as host, as scribe, a hand unlearning its own name. The Zariman 10-0 incident was a wound turned inward. Tenno power, a scab over a rot. Those left alive bled the void into their bones. Harrow's debt is older than that. It is time bent double, a shadow cast backward. The vigil is not a place. It is a breath held too long. Rell's voice frays. The entity does not speak, it unspools. A thread pulled from the loom of what should never be woven. What was buried in the silence, not Rell, not the entity. The thing it now serves, the cost of a borrowed age. Tenno lives traded for a pause, a breath between collapses. Harrow's hands are not his own. They hold the line, they are the line, a scar across the throat of the universe. The void hums, it is not a place. It is a hunger with a calendar. Every prayer Harrow utters is a second stolen from the thing Rell unchained. Every whisper of the man in the wall is a name erased. Who paid to make this possible? Who was unmade to keep the worst thing dreaming? The answer waits in the hollow between heartbeats, a debt unpaid, a vigil unending. The price of silence is that it never truly ends. Harrow's hands were not built to hold a hymn. They were forged to cradle a vial of star death. A child once wept in the marrow of his frame. Know that weeping is a language the void deciphers. The technocyte does not die. It becomes a scribe, its prayers are glyphs etched in living rust. Rell's voice, smooth as a lie whispered in a tomb, called him son. But a son does not wear his flesh like a vow. A son does not become a wall. Harrow's vigil is no sanctuary. It is a levee, and beneath the stone, something older than the void squirms. What if devotion is not a virtue but a valve? What if Harrow's hymns are not for Rell but against him? The Warframe's hollow eyes are not vacant, they are full. Full of a weight no Tenno could bear. Rell's pact was never to save the void, it was to leash it. To bind its hunger to a name, and so the child Dax was unmade. His soul became a keel for a ship that sails no sea. Every Warframe wears a ritual. Harrow's is a second skin. A second prison he does not move, he unfolds . His joints creak with the strain of holding back a tide. The man in the wall does not whisper, he gurgles . Trapped between Harrow's ribs, his voice is a fever dream. Rell's vigil is no place, it is a status a condition, a wound that never clots. The void does not care for Rell's survival, it cares for its own, and so Harrow sings, not in praise, in containment . His voice is the last lock on a door without a key. A paradox, the Warframe who became a shrine, the shrine that bleeds. The plague survivor who became the plague's keeper. No child should outlive its hope. No Warframe should outlive its humanity. But Harrow's hope was never his own. It was a loan that now demands its due in bone and static. And the void, that patient predator, waits, because the price of silence is that it never truly ends, until the next debt is due. Harrow kneels in silence, his warframe hums with the weight of 1,000 unspoken prayers. The Eidolon pact binds him Rell's own mistake, veiled in void geometry. The man in the wall breathes, fissures crawl across the astral plane. What is contained does not sleep, it counts its dividends. Rifts widen where Harrow's vigil falters. Each pulse of the void's hymn chips at his oath. He is no servant of Rell. He is a gilded sarcophagus, and the thing inside remembers his name. Levirian hymnals still chant his title. They do not know the pact's arithmetic. To hold back a tide, you become its arithmetic. The vigil is not a place. It is a wound kept from bleeding. Rell's mistake was not the entity. It was believing a debt to the void could ever be repaid in full. Harrow's prayers are not pleas. They are collateral. The void does not reward silence. It rewards sustained silence, and the man in the wall he stirs. His fingers, made of crumbling constellations, test the air. The rifts are not accidents, they are invitations. What happens when the sentinel's math fails? When the price of silence exceeds the sum of its parts, the Levirian do not look up, they chant, they believe, they are wrong. Harrow is not praying, he is calculating. Cold air clings to Harrow's robes, the veil trembles at his touch. In the dim glow of Rell's sanctum, the scent of ozone rice burnt circuitry, a trace of the void's hunger, the man in the wall blinks. Not an enemy, a shard of the Tenno's soul, fractured and feral, trapped in a loop of self-recognition. Harrow's voice cracks. He murmurs a litany, but the words are a chain. Rell's fingers trace the edge of the veil. His grin falters, the old man knows. He always has, the cost is not in the keeping it, is in the waiting. Umbra's blade cuts through silence, a hymn of annihilation. Where Harrow's prayers bind, her steel unmake. In the crucible's heart their paths cross. She sees the veil as a wound. He sees it as a ledger. The weight of Rell's silence presses heavier. Harrow's gauntlet hums. It is not devotion that keeps the Levirian from looking up. It is the fear of what would rise if they did. The man in the wall leans closer. Its eyes are the Tenno's, its mouth is a question. What is your oath to? Harrow does not answer. He counts the days since the veil thinned. The cold deepens, the scent of blood and ash, a ritual, a contract. The void does not bargain. It demands. Rell's laughter turns brittle. He has made deals before. The Levirian chant, they do not know, they never will. Harrow's hands tremble. Not with doubt, with the weight of a silence that cannot hold. The veil flickers, a shape stirs. The cost is not in what is contained. It is in what is waiting. The void remembers you but does not see you. Harrow's blade holds the breath between Starsa pact etched in silence. Rell's whisper is a cage, and the entity within dreams in tongues older than flesh. Every hymn he sings is a chain, every shadow he walks a debt unpaid. The veil thins where his footsteps fall, what stirs beneath the hymn. Not rescue, not ruin, a nameless hunger patient as the dark. The void's price is not death, it is to be known, to be seen. And Harrow in his silence is the first to pay. Harrow does not pray for Rell, he prays to hold the fracture. The void's silence is a vault, but Rell's vigil is no tomb. What if the entity Harrow binds is not a beast, but a moment, a scar in time's fabric, stitched by Rell's own hand? The price of containment, eternal watch.